welcome back to the Degenerates. It is Mother's Day. I totally fucked up on the timing of recording this episode. We should have probably done it yesterday if we could have, but our co-host Juliet is not here because of Mother's Day. My sister's not here because of Mother's Day. Actually, no, she's at a Coldplay concert, so she's over there trying to be a trying to get like everything out of Mother's Day that she possibly could, because she's also a mother. So she's all like, man, the way I'm gonna celebrate my Mother's Day is to not be childless.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure all of you mothers out there probably would be like, yo, that's the best Mother's Day gift ever, is to just give me a day to myself. But we're here with Lindsay.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. Originally, we were planning on having a lot of women here to this episode, because this week was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? A tumultuous week, and in the news and politics. We wanted to talk. We're going to talk about the leak of the Supreme Court document that talks about the it looks like inevitable overturning of the Roe v. Wade and Casey versus Planned Parenthood. The decisions that happened, well, what was it now, 40 years ago? 40 something,
like 73.
Almost.
Yeah.
I know Casey was in 92, right?
Yeah, and Roe v. Wade was.
And Roe v. Wade was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute, and we're gonna talk about it. A lot of people are like really kind of as they should be. They're very frightened, and it's been kind of a crazy week online on social media. And usually we like to have very mindless conversations, and we like to shit talk. But this is one of those conversations that unfortunately it has to be kind of a little bit more serious in tone. So we're gonna do our best to kind of get through it. And at the end of the episode, we're gonna provide links to organizations that are really helpful here in Houston. If you're watching this anywhere, how you can help, how you can advocate, and like the kind of things that you can do, how you can think about this in retrospect, and the kind of steps that we need to take as the political left to try to undo this or soften the blow as much as possible.
I feel like we're still gonna shit talk though.
I think yeah. I got some smoke. I got some smoke for some of these people. So yeah, we're still definitely gonna shit talk. So the leaked document happened. Right. And primarily it's a leaked document. It's not a final draft, but the pragmatism in me has to come out a little bit. There is 5 justices that are politically conservative. There is what's the word I'm looking for? An absence of what's the word? Badassery in the Supreme Court,
right?
With the absence of RBG, sorry. It as much as this sucks to say, it come July when they actually vote on this decision, or they actually have something to say, despite the dissent that is probably coming from Sotomayor and the other justices. It looks like Roe v. Wade and Casey versus Planned Parenthood is going to be overturned, which is a big deal for many reasons, not just the immediate concern for women, but legal precedent overall in the past for the probably the biggest legal precedent over the past 100 years. So we kind of have to come to terms with that as best as we can, and we have to try our best to get ahead of it. The vote is happening in July, if I'm not mistaken. That's whenever it's on the docket. Conveniently so, it's happening. It's the last thing that they're gonna talk about and vote on, which unfortunately means that after the Supreme Court goes into their break, they will not talk about anything nor make any decision until the next term that they're in, which I'm not sure when they come back, but it's not soon. It's not going to happen this year. That also being said, politically speaking, as soon as that happens in July, There is, from my understanding, 13 states that will go immediately into a trigger law effect that will ban abortion outright, period, hands down. And there will be an election in the fall, which can potentially be a silver lining depending on how we the political left, I mean, how we decide to carry ourselves for the next 9 months to 2 years.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I missing anything here? Is that a pretty good overview?
I think you captured the picture.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of goes through your mind?
Probably too many things, but it's hard, I think, in the times that we're in currently not to get like hopeless about the situation. So I think that's kind of what they are shooting for, is that we all sort of lose hope and we don't come out in force or in waves in like the elections upcoming or in marches. They want us to feel defeated automatically. And so that's the thing that we have to kind of fight against, is not being defeated right off the bat and like showing up so that we can try and make a difference, because nobody else is going to do it for us. They're certainly not going to.
Right. Correct. Maybe this is just me, but politically speaking, I feel like the right. So I'm going to speak on this in terms of like what I'm looking at. I've got 2 accounts for everything online, not on Instagram, but like on YouTube and on Twitter. I tend to have 2 accounts because I want to know what the political right is talking about. So like I will subscribe to like all the political pundits. Yeah, feel free to move all that around however you want. So a lot of what the political right has been saying is more so the sanctity of leaking the document, which I think is just a red herring, because they actually don't want to talk about what's happening. I'm sure they're in full joy about it happening,
right?
But politically speaking, I think it's bad timing on their part for it to happen, because it might, in some way, shape, or form, make people show up in droves come election this year.
Right.
And
that's the hope. That's
probably not what they want, because, again, my pragmatism will show up. It looks like we were going to get swept. Just in terms of like the way that the right has been mobilizing itself for the from the election is rigged, or Joe stole the election, all the way up until now. It looks like they've been mobilizing to really, really, really come in full force and kind of like demolish especially since we barely scraped by in the Senate.
Right.
I'm sure the House will be fine to some degree, but I'm sure that's what they were prepping for, and that's probably what they wanted. It was looking like it was going to be the biggest upset for Democratic leaning midterm in 50 to 60 years. That's what it was looking like.
Yeah.
Which now it's up in the air. And they're really not happy about that. So it's a red herring, just right off the bat. They don't want to talk about the issue itself. Right. They want to talk about how it's so like disrespectful that the validity and the sanctity of the Supreme Court got violated, which it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
That's just a cowardly way of going about the actual issue, which highlights my biggest critique, if anything, my biggest critique, to put it lightly, of conservatives is their hypocrisy.
Well, you can't get mad at the closet for the skeletons coming
right.
out of it.
Right. But on the left side, I've been seeing a lot of mobilization, at least in theory, at least like in not in theory in terms of like it being like in the abstract, like in actual like conversations about what's going on, what the cases were, and then a lot of very poignant and detailed descriptions of like what can happen in terms of the danger for women.
Right.
If this does happen.
Yeah.